Hey guys, in this lesson we would understand how to solve system of linear equations using substitution. That's the second technique we were supposed to do in order to find the point of intersection. Let's take the two equations first, and the equations are negative 2x plus y equal to negative 5 and negative 6 plus 10x plus 2y equal to 0. Substitution basically means solving for one equation and substituting or putting it into the second equation. So let's first mark the equations. This is our first equation and this is our second equation. It's our choice. We want to solve for the first equation, one variable, or we want to solve the second equation for one variable. It's easier to solve the first equation for y because y is alone. So we would solve equation 1 for y. It's always better to write down what you're doing. So we would isolate y in equation 1. That's what it means by solving the first equation. We'll leave y on one side. We'll move this on the other side. We get 2x minus 5. And this is what we get for the first equation. Let's call this equation number 3. Now the next step is we would substitute equation 3 in equation 2. Make sure here we do not do mistake. This equation 3 that we have obtained is from equation 1. We cannot substitute back this 3 in equation 1. We have to substitute it in the other equation, and the other equation is equation number 2. So wherever we see y in equation number 2, that place we will put this whole 2x minus 5. That is meant by substitution. Let's first rewrite equation number 2. We have negative 6 plus 10x plus 2y is equal to 0. Now in place of y, we would put in 2x minus 5, and this is what we're going to be solving. We have negative 6 plus 10x. This is going to be FOIL. So 2 times 2 is 4x minus 10 equal to 0. We would collect like terms. Negative 6, negative 10 is going to give us a negative 16. Plus 10 plus 4 gives us a 14x equal to 0. The only variable we have here is x now. So we're solving for x. We would be leaving 14x on one side and moving this negative 16 on the other side. We get a positive 16. So x is going to be equal to 16 divided by 14, which is going to be 2 times 8 and 2 times 7. Therefore, we are left with x equal to 8 over 7. This x value is nothing but the x coordinate of the point of intersection that we are looking for. Now we need the y coordinate. To find out the y coordinate, we would substitute this x coordinate in any one of the two equations that we had started with. So we can now substitute x equal to 8 over 7 in any one of the equations of our choice. So let's pick equation number 1. Equation 1 is negative 2x plus y equal to negative 5. We would substitute the x as 8 over 7 and we get negative 2 times 8 is negative 16 divided by 7 plus y equal to negative 5, and we would solve for y coordinate by isolating y. So we're left with negative 5 plus 16 over 7. This is negative 5 over 1. We make the denominators common and that gives us negative 35 over 7. Here we are just doing addition and subtraction of fractions. We are left with 7. Negative 35 plus 16 would give us negative 19 over 7. And this is the y coordinate for point of intersection that we are looking for. Therefore, the final answer would be point of intersection of these two line equations is 8 over 7 and negative 19 over 7. If you use a calculator, you will get decimal numbers. You can either get decimal numbers or you can do it in fractions without using calculator. Let's quickly summarize the steps of substitution. For substitution, we would be given two equations and we have to find out the point of intersection for those two equations. We need to isolate one of the equations. We can use whatever equation we want to isolate. In this particular equation, I isolated equation number 1. So I used equation number 1 to isolate for y, and then I solved for y, and I call this equation as equation number 3. So this is the first step, is solving any one equation for one of the variables. It could be x, it could be y. It's not always y. It's up to you. It's individual choice. Then the second step is substitute the new equation variable because this variable is now by itself. So we are going to substitute the third equation in the second equation. This is our second equation, negative 6 plus 10x plus 2y equal to 0. In this equation, in place of y, we would put in 2x minus 5, and then we would use FOIL method to solve the equation. We'll collect the like terms. The reason we are doing substitution here is that we can get an equation with only one variable. So we see here this equation that we have obtained is going to be just containing x values, no y value. So once the equation contains just one variable, then we can isolate that one variable. So we will be isolating x here. Once we isolate x, we'll be able to get the value of x. Then we can use that value of x in any one of the equations given in the question. I use this value of x in equation number 1. So in place of x, I substituted 8 over 7 and then I solve for y value. These x and y values are the coordinates of point of intersection, and that's our final answer.